In 2019, Sofitel announces a new and refreshed brand campaign which celebrates its French roots using the slogan, "Live the French Way." Historically, Sofitel communicates its brand messages and imagery very clearly within its advertising campaigns. Highlighting its French heritage and defining their brand clearly, Sofitel has a strong and identifiable intended message, and the viewer is left with a clear impression of what the brand represents. Charles Fraser proposed 7 message strategies which best benefits target markets and market situation for that brand. One of these includes brand message. Sofitel uses its French heritage to appeal to its tended target market and to set a definitive brand idea. The big idea is what the hotel stands for, a well-structured and clear brand identity that can generate loyalty and create a distinctive profile. Sofitel has made its strategic idea very prominent in their advertising and has used strategic methods to get their point across. The message within the campaign is well defined. The brand campaign is inviting the audience to live the French way. The idea of French style and culture may be compelling to some, but others may react undesirably to it and find it more negative than a positive. Many don't consider the French theme to be their personal luxury and may have the opposite effect on these consumers. These consumers may find other hotel brands more compelling. Many people identify French style and culture as expensive, modern, young, and high-end fashion. The ad campaign, Live the French Way, has used this already established identity to their advantage, and this is what differentiates the brand from its competitors. This approach is appropriate for their business, and this is where the brand began and grew. French culture and style is the definition for their brand, and this is made clear through the recent advertisement. The campaign relates to a consumer's self-actualization and self-esteem, relating to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The desire for reputation and respect from others is seen as someone who incorporates French style and lives in luxury. Sofitel's advertisement has personal appeal. It tugs at our emotions and aspirations, which are centered around our need for happiness and joy. The French allure makes the viewer want to go to Sofitel and escape into the world of French art de vivre. The campaign uses both fantasy styles and a slice of life. Sofitel invites you to join a French fantasy and still keeps it realistic by including scenes based within the hotel, which could be any of the hotels which are based around the world. Sofitel is successfully differentiating itself from its competitors by being the first international luxury brand to originate from France, later being brought by Accor. Although the campaign highlights its heritage, it's not clear that it's an international hotel and risks not reaching certain cultures, and completely defining itself as exclusively French, which may not entirely appeal or give some consumers the same arousal as others. Choosing the best social channels for a specific media strategy is based on key characteristics and a strategic process which applies to current and emerging social media networks. Referring back to key insights of Sofitel's big idea like living life the French way, and linking back to our target audience, young, optimistic travelers, either male or female, 20 to 40s, who enjoy luxury and the stylistic idea of French culture, it is wise of Sofitel to advertise their product through many social media sites. The campaign has branched itself out on many platforms, including having their own Facebook page which clearly spreads the message of the campaign. As well as this, a YouTube page and an Instagram blog. These all support the brand's hashtag Live the French Way. This media technique is an extremely useful tool to strengthen a campaign, and it fits well with the brand's target consumer. There are also disadvantages to the use of social media. There is greater exposure on these new platforms, which may lead to more negative feedback, and this creates a higher risk for the brand. Recommendations for Sofitel's media strategy to reach their target audience would be to also keep local. Advertise the campaign throughout cities on billboards to reach another group of consumers who are traveling the city and are looking for a different hotel to stay at next time. It may also appeal to those craving more adventure away from their 9-to-5 lives. Increasing media channels means further campaign coverage and would increase brand recognition, because Sofitel is creating a definitive image for themselves. Although they have a target audience, reaching more consumers means more recognition for the brand. There are multiple regulations and ethical requirements which need to be considered and made when advertising for a hotel or resort like Sofitel. Being a global company who advertises their product in multiple locations around the world, Sofitel is required to follow any regulations and ethical standards that the International Chamber of Commerce, ICC, have put into place for the marketing and advertising industry globally. The new code raises standards and expands rules in the digital world. When advertising within Australia, there are ethical standards that need to be addressed by both the company personally and by an AANA Advertiser Code of Ethics standard. These aren't necessarily legal requirements, but ensure the product is being advertised in a morally ethical way. The regulations are laws set by the ICC and the Australian Government's Competition and Consumer Act 2010, which ensures marketers follow a set of guidelines that guarantee marketers don't promote misleading, deceptive services.